How's it going, everyone? It's Vijay from HackBuddy. Today I just wanted to talk about being laid off. So I got laid off a couple days ago, and I gotta tell you, it's not fun hearing that I'm laid off. But I guess I wanted to make this video because I felt like, for anybody else who's also going through the same thing, I'm right there with you. I know what it feels like right now to be laid off. Layoffs are just part of life. I think ultimately you have to treat it as, businesses are either profitable or not profitable. And so sometimes it has nothing to do with you. Don't internalize it as something that you did that caused the layoff. It's like everything else. Like when you're programming, if a bug happens in your code, you look at it and you try to understand what's going on and you fix it and you move forward, right? And a lot of times when those things happen, we don't even really kind of take it personally. We just kind of look at it, figure it out, and move forward, and it's pretty fast. And so for me, I feel like that's exactly the same thing, happening here. Like I got a layoff, just got to figure out what I need to do to fix it and then move forward. And it could be as fast as hey, next week I have another job. The cool thing about being laid off is that you get time. You get time to kind of, focus on you. A lot of times, as engineers, we're working really hard for other people and building things and moving fast and trying to do the best we can. Sometimes it's easy to get lost in that maze because you forget to prioritize yourself. Maybe you just are always working long hours and you don't really have time to spend with your family or watch cool shows or play video games or any of that stuff, whatever, right? Having this layoff is a little bit of a vacation in some ways. So, enjoy it. Yeah, enjoy those kind of things, right? When the downtime happens, enjoy it. It's kind of to me, you're sort of forced to just suddenly be in the present, right? Whereas when you're working, a lot of times you may not be seeing the things around you. You may not be aware of the present. Actually, as I'm filming this too, my blinds are closed, and sometimes I don't even see what's outside, because I might be working pretty late into the night. And so suddenly when you get a layoff, it's wow, you're forced to just see the world and the world for what it is. And that's actually a great thing. So much of my work career has been just grinding 20s and 30s of my life. And so sometimes when I am in the present, I'm whoa, I can't believe all this time has gone by. To me, the pandemic, still feels like it happened yesterday, and 2019 or 2018 also feels pretty close by. When people say it's been 10 years since I've been working in this industry, I'm just wow, really? I don't believe it was that fast, but it was. And so ultimately, what I want to say here is that, yeah, time goes pretty fast. And if you're not enjoying, it every now and then, the present every now and then you might wake up one day and you're whoa, I'm 50 or 60 or way even older than that. And you have no idea what you've been working for. So it's good to just kind of have a little bit of a break. And so I want to use that break to kind of reassess a lot of different things too. Definitely I want to get back to work, but I also want to think about what had I been doing, a couple years ago before I got this particular job, and what were the struggles then? What are things I can do now that I couldn't do back then? And what should I feel proud of? Because actually too, when I was looking at some of the code from, a couple years ago, I remember struggling with it so much. And then just looking at my old computer, today, I was wow, it wasn't that difficult for me this time now with all my newfound knowledge. And so I was able to kind of clean up that project and finish it fast over the weekend, which was really great. If you're wondering in particular what it was a Next.js project. And I was thinking this was so difficult about a year ago, but it was super easy for me to just kind of fly through it this time. And I'm thankful that I got to build my experience so much more, at the place that I worked at. So that's a great thing. And so moving forward too, like I want to like just continue to like build on that, like assess some goals, think about what is difficult for me. If anything, right, like when the layoff happens and you start internalizing, like whether like maybe you caused some stuff, like maybe like you weren't the strongest performer, think about it instead objectively, like rather than think about like, oh, like they let me go because I wasn't so good. Think about it more like, oh, these are the things that I was struggling with, and I want to get better at it. So I'm going to dedicate more time now that I have the time to do so. And so, first off though, like, let me just kind of be clear, like, be proud of yourself that you got as far as you did, right? That's what I wanted to say with the last thing that I was saying. I feel really proud about how far I've come. And yes, day to day, like there may have been things that, I wasn't so good at, but those are the things I want to overcome moving forward, right? And so, if I was weak at something, I'm going to do better, and I'm just going to like spend extra time to learn it. And then maybe it won't be so much of a problem for me in the future. And whatever it is, right, I'll just write down. I'll be happy to share that list upcoming. There are things that, I felt really, really strong about, like my front end. Like I'm really happy and in a good place with that. Back end is probably something I probably need to like work on a little bit more. So I'm going to spend more time on that. And I think that's a good journey for me, especially in making these kind of vlogs. I think like for me too, I want to like be a little bit more open about who I am and like where I'm at in terms of like my coding ability and all that, and just kind of have it on YouTube, because I think that would be kind of a fun journey. And so I don't mind like saying like, yeah, I need to work on my backend, or like I need to work on my data structure and algorithms, or I need to work on my system design. All fun stuff that I want to like get better at. And so I feel like just being open, having like succeeding videos that kind of talk about like those things, that's going to be fun. That's going to help me like kind of have a journey moving forward from here to something a little bit more excellent. It'd be great if like a year from now, I was just way even more better at like, all the things that I felt like I was struggling with this year. Like if I'm like way better at backend and way better at system design, data structure and algorithms a year later from this video, that would be amazing. And I'd have the, video log to prove it or to share with the world. So I think that's something cool that can come out of, these feelings of being laid off. Like I can kind of use the time to kind of build up. I think just like having a little bit of this time to assess is great, because I can plan forward and build like a schedule to get to that path, which I think is great. I like YouTube because YouTube allows me to share experiences. And so for me, this is fun to just make these kind of like little videos. I also get to be creative, which is something that I mentioned on LinkedIn. I didn't really get that much time to do. So I enjoy like, making videos, and I enjoy like, building web apps, and just like making like little MVPs. So I might share a lot of that too in these kind of videos or successive videos. So ultimately, it is what it is. Being laid off, it hurts, but you just fix it. And for me, I'm excited to have time back, and I'm just going to improve. So hope you'll join me on this journey, and thanks for watching, and see you around.